Lenka, this is such an honour and such a pleasure to have you as a guest here on my podcast. So welcome. What I talk about here at the Soul Call is living, learning and leading with soul. And my introduction to you, Lenka, was back in November when I took part in your Temptation Masterclass. And your energy was so pristine. It was incredible to be held in such a beautiful vibrational place where you really embody what you talk and what you teach. You really have that divine masculine and divine feminine so perfectly in balance and do it in such a graceful and authentic way. So I want to thank you for that, first of all. Just beautiful. Now, we know that from your bio that you are a self-made millionaire, a multi-millionairess. I want to celebrate you first and foremost. Incredible, incredible achievements. You're a working mum and you proudly talk about your family as well. And working in education in my past and having my own children, I know what that's like to hold all of that energy too. But you're holding this enterprise of Lenka Lutonska with a team working for you. You're holding women and their power. And that is an incredible, incredible journey that you're on. So I just want to honour that. I want to thank you for being here today and being in my energy. I'm just so, so grateful. But I also want to acknowledge that this journey for you hasn't happened overnight. And I understand that you started off in quite humble beginnings growing up in Slovakia and working in education myself, and speaking to young children about what their dreams are and what they want to be when they grow up. I wanted to take you right back to where your journey began, and I would love if you could share with us here what little Lenka looked like and what her dreams and aspirations were as a little girl.
Kelly, first and foremost, thank you. Absolute pleasure to be part of this. Now, when I was a little girl, I didn't have big dreams. They started to awaken when I was teenager. At that time, I was a little bit messed up, problematic teenager, growing up in a traditional Slovak family. Under the Catholic Church. So I would go to church and I would be very good church girl. And what I do remember about those times is that number one, I was dreaming about doing something huge. It sounded like I'm going to change the world. Naive, I'm going to change the world. So I was dreaming about that in those times. At the same time, I was very much questioning the nature of God because I was religious and I had a lot of guilt in me installed, as you would.
Yeah.
And I was very, very blessed to have very understanding priest in our village who was actually listening to my complaints about God and about teachings of Catholic Church and why I don't believe that God would punish and send to hell people of different faiths. It didn't make sense, and how it didn't make sense that he would send to perjury little, children who didn't manage to get baptized, etc., etc. And he was very patiently listening, and actually still let me, even with my serious doubts, he let me work with children, troubled children. And that was my first exposure to actually working with people to help them to change, where I used creativity, storytelling, drawing, speaking to help these children, and actually helping myself as well to feel better, to be better, to dream more, I guess. In some outlines of it was obviously still in a church, but it was my first exposure and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. But as the time went, I got more and more insecure in myself. Cut the story short, I was suffering from bulimia and anorexia, and my parents, I was a handwork. I was a piece of work. And at the age of 19, because I was set on a path of very traditional education, and I was supposed to start university in banking and finance, or rather continue that path. That's where I finished. Would you have the college here?
Yes, yes.
I was supposed to start the university, and that's where when I really the first time rebelled, like seriously rebelled, and got an opportunity to be an au pair in England, and that was my ticket, like, to the world.
Wow.
University. I got 30 pounds in cash, hopped on a bus. I got obviously accommodation as an au pair, and went to London, this cosmopolitan city
Wow.
where dreams come true. I'm going to change the world in my way. Very naive. And so, of course, yes, that's where it started. That's the humble beginnings. And of course, beginnings here in UK, of course, they were tough, as ones are. But everything that happened, and I so strongly believe that this is for each and every one of us, no matter how ugly packaging it has sometimes, everything that happened led me to be able to become who I needed to become, to be able to be of a highest service to the world, and to be changing the world in my own way, person by person, group by group, etc., etc. So that's where it started.
Amazing. Oh, thank you so much for sharing that. Now, I resonate and relate to so much of that. And I think, you know, hearing you describe the journey that you were on, even from a young girl, gives us a bit of background as to, you know, what inspired you. It was that internal knowingness, wasn't it? It was that soul call within you that you were going to be here to change the world in your way. And it's so desperately sad, I feel, when people lose that, when their light turns down, and, you know, whatever was going on for you in your life as a teenager, you know, I think it's such a difficult age. As a mother of two teenage daughters myself, you have all these push and pulls in your energy field, don't you? So you have expectations of parents, you have expectations of school, of your friends, and for you to know your mind at such a young age, because you were 19, I believe, when you came to London.
When I came to London, yes.
Yeah, I mean, still so young, but having that will within you to change the world is just incredible to hear, and to do that on
Yes.
your own.
Well, we all have something. It just may seem so ridiculous and large and big and out there that it doesn't feel, perhaps it may feel like a fantasy. And that's what it felt like to start with. But the thing is, if we don't pursue those dreams, which is a soul call, it will continue to pursue us. It will continue to haunt us a little bit, right? We don't do anything about it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And just hearing you reflect on the paradigms, you know, that you were changing and questioning some of the beliefs. Some of us would describe that as indoctrinations or programs, however we want to describe it. It's belief systems that have been passed down either ancestrally, educationally, through our parentage, and finding your own path, creating your own route forward is just so phenomenal, because we do doubt ourselves, don't we? We doubt and we doubt and we suppress until we reach those points of breakthrough.
Yes. And we are the ones who are creating that cell. And I've been in that cell many times.
Yeah.
Certainly my journey, and perhaps most people's journey, hasn't been the one where I was searching and then found a one secret formula, and then everything radically changed. It was a series of moments. And I recall one of those moments was when, after I lost my first business, which is part of my making, if you like, which set me on a roughly two years of very tough period in my life, questioning my identity, questioning who I am, getting into extreme lack in all ways, and being very disconnected from my soul purpose. I cried my eyes out because I so wanted to serve others and be in purpose, and it just wasn't happening, no matter what I did. And in those times, I once was sitting with a client for a session. It was one of probably two clients at the time, you know, one of very few precious clients. And after that session, because we were sitting in a very beautiful hotel, which was an everyday happening for me, It was special. And we wanted to take a picture of us. And so I asked the staff, she took a picture of us, and the picture arrived. And when I looked at that picture, it was one of those very powerful moments, because it showed me, not in a black and white, in a color, how very small I'm making myself to be. I was crouching on that picture, adjusting myself to be smaller unconsciously, whereas my client, who I coached, stood tall and straight. It
Wow.
looked like I was the one who needed confidence.
Coached. Yeah.
And I understood immediately, you know, Lenka, you created this prison in your mind, the rules, you're playing very small game. You're stuck in this lack mentality of what is possible. You have to forget all of that and do the bravest things. You have to play the bigger game. And for me, it was at the time, immediately the idea, I knew, we kind of know what we need to do, but I was so afraid. I said, playing the bigger game means no longer focusing on little meetings, little this, little that, you know, close it all down, let every bit of your security behind, go online, go global, which was like, I didn't have anything to do that.
Wow.
But I did. And from then it was started to quite quickly grow as a result of few key moments like that.
Amazing.
You're quite right. I totally agree that we created these rules. There is the world, physical world is full of rules that we learn, adopt, and then we're in this reactive consciousness as in what we should do by the rules or the rules of our mind. Oh, if you gotta question those rules all the time, if it's something not to our liking or we're not fulfilling our potential, I always ask myself, what rule did I give into? What rule created in my mind that I unconsciously live by, so it doesn't serve me and the people I serve?
Yeah. And I love how you've recognized that. You've recognized that in a very visual way, but all the powerful changes that you're describing have been huge, sort of internal changes, though, shifting that momentum into being all that you came here to be. And so fast forwarding to where you are in your life now, you know, it's very easy on the outside looking in, say, oh my goodness, you know, you are this CEO, boss lady, this, you know, you have this huge empire now and you're traveling the world, recently just been in Paris and Dubai, and it all looks so amazing. But of course, there's this powerhouse behind this, and this power comes internally from your heart energy. And that, I guess, was one of the things that really struck me about your masterclass, Lenka. You were talking about energy and being in alignment with your own soul and with recognizing the shadow aspects of all of that. And that's where the growth is as well. That is, it's not all an easy journey, is it? It's all learning, and it's all part of the journey. It's all an important part of the journey. But you also speak about archetypes as well. And I love how you talk about archetypes, because, you know, I talk about light and shadow and how we need to embrace it all. It's all of us. We encompass all of that. And these archetypes that you talk about, you don't just talk about them, you demonstrate it in such a beautiful way where you have walked the walk, you have been on the journey and know and have embodied at different parts of your journey in this life so far, what all of those archetypes mean to you and how they've shown up in your life. And I loved, you know, the authenticity that you spoke about with regards to somebody who had really, I call triggerings, awakenings, when somebody had really triggered you by saying that you basically copied it, you know, stolen their work and stolen their content of work and used their copy. And the way that you spoke about that and recognized the learning and the shadow that was coming up in you and what you had done then to shift that internally. I wonder if you would share with us, you know, some of what was revealed to you and what, you know, how that took you to a deeper place.
Sure. So first and foremost, Kelly, you mentioned somewhere in the beginning that I hold a lot of energy for others. And I don't see it that way, because even holding energy sounds exhausting for our human, right?
So
when
true.
I actually go in that mode, this is where sometimes, rarely, but sometimes I can fall in there. It's like, you know, it's so much responsibility, so much, you know, it's a lot for a little.
Overwhelming,
Yes, yes. But I see it and truly feel it in my heart, and as we are vessels of divine.
Yeah.
And more we let the life, the energy, divine flow through us, then inevitably more and more people it touches and impacts, etc., etc.
Yeah.
So it's that holding energies happen automatically thanks to that who we are, embodiment of that energy. Now, travel, let's say, luxury, sexual energy, even for me, these are what do you call desire force. I think desire force is the language of energy or language of the soul that is giving us indication, like come here, look here, because it's something for you, that you will be able to embody that higher energy or soul energy, who you are. So this is why I, for instance, travel, or I started to embrace more and more luxury, because they always give me something positive, but also triggers, etc. Which is, you said it beautifully. How did you say it? Triggers.
Awakenings,
Yes, it's like they're oftentimes beginning of change.
Yeah.
And well, I like your light and dark, and that's exactly it. When we are playing with the desires force, the very welcome it and then embrace some excuse me, I've got still a little bit of cough from cold flu, and it's persistently wants to stay a little bit. When we essentially accept some powerful desire of ourselves and we choose this, okay, this is who I am, I welcome you, I'll do my part. What's in it? What is my part? What's now? We are activating a higher version of ourselves. We are activating that which already is pre-existent. So now starts the journey of embodying that fully, of living that fully. So what we, by a very definition of it, if we activate our higher potential, we activate the shadow of it as well. That everything and anything that is currently present in our energy, or will self-manifest circumstances that come as challenges, triggers, some form of love, anything like that. So that it will allow us to let go of what we need to let go of, to see through illusions we created in our minds or rules we created, and to embody that higher energy. So we can truly embody, truly manifest it, so to speak. So that shadow work that you mentioned was part of that, was part of that when I activated it. And what it was about, it happened when I was on holidays with my family. We were holidaying by the beach, by the sea, and everything was wonderful. And I got a message from my team, like, I'm so sorry to disturb you on holiday, they never would, but this is urgent. There is a woman online who is publicly defaming you, and we don't know what to do, so I think you would want to react. And so my team was running on my behalf a little promotion. They brought a course up, created a little promotion around it that I created like 5, 6, 7 years ago. And the woman that was publicly talking about me, she declared that I took her teachings, because I called my course a certain way, that it's her teachings, and I took entire her teachings, and I built my entire success on her teachings. So in the comments, she and hundreds of others called me thief. Then what happened, because she also reached out privately, so we responded. Essentially, this is not true. Back in the day, I read few of her newsletters, and I don't know her teachings, what she teaches, or anything like that. And she did, I'm a liar because I lie, because she saw I opened different email, So liar and thief was the public label put on me. And of course, as for a human, when it's not true, it's like I felt like like a witch, like when they want to prosecute you.
Absolutely.
You haven't done anything wrong, and you don't have no means to defend yourself. Now I could go on that thread or wherever she went and talked about me, and I could defend myself, but I knew if I do that, I would just put a coal in the fire. I knew that I want to do this right, in the right way, privately with her, and by looking inwards, because as uncomfortable and ugly as it was, this was still, I created it through her. It's not like it had nothing to do with her. I believe that whereas we have this beautiful illusion of separatedness, it's needed. We live in a universe, the 3D of relativity, which is beautiful, but it's still illusion. It's still one consciousness. We are experiencing ourselves through other people. It's still me. So it's so my internal work was about, how did I create this? Where am I lying to myself and others? Where am I stealing from myself and others? Or possessing, like, this is mine, like she did with me. This is my stuff, you know? And immediately what came through me was on a reflection, was, yes, have a look a little bit into down the ancestral line, because there is seriously this witchy, you know, like public prosecution energy. And I did that with a coach. But what, with a little bit of digging, I found that, blimey, you know, immediately, if I ask myself, where do I am possessive over something, you know, like it's my results or whatever. It's like this is the inner child archetype, like it's my toy. Nowhere, of course, as a human, as a change maker, creator, I wouldn't want to admit I'm doing that. And yet, when I was really candid and honest with myself, I am doing a little bit of that. Didn't I just protect a few of my trademarks, you know, around the book, around the selling energetic marketing? Wasn't I just triggered a few months back by one of my dear clients who, thanks to my teachings, created tremendous, tremendous success, massive success. And I was fine, but she used my teachings, and I was like, it's not fair. So, let's look here. So I realized I'm doing that. So the work it was actually a very easy one. It was in my awareness. I don't own anything. I don't own not one piece of my client's success. I don't own one piece of my teachings. I don't own one piece of a processes I put together, one piece of my writing. I don't know anything. I'm a vessel of it. So, and it was literally like a weight of, you know, falling off me. And because up till then, it was literally like bombarded into me. It was one of those rules: protect your intellectual property. Like, you cannot teach, very ugly phrase, pigs sacred work, you know, like, you know, there's so much. And I let go of all the trademarks, and I completely changed approach. And that's just over the last 6 months now, where I publicly said to my clients, anything I teach is yours to use. So in my program, especially the bigger programs, I'm also teaching clients how to use the tools that I teach, not just for ourselves and our own beautiful rituals, but how to use it to its fullest with others. And it's so much freedom in it. And altogether, as a result of it, when I introduced my next program, it was again nearly 1 million launch, which was like unbelievable for me, you know. So that was very uncomfortable, but very, very powerful work. And yes, the archetypes are really helping in this work.
Do you know, even just hearing you reflecting on that again, Lenka, just brings it home how incredible you are as a leader. Now, I talk about leading with soul. And, you know, we need the masculine structures. We need to protect, like, the intellectual property when we're starting out in our business and when we're continuing in our business. But to hear you reflecting on that deep inner work and all that divine feminine, allowing that to rise, and talking about the you know, archetypes, when you spoke about I choose, and correct me if I'm wrong, but that's the queen archetype that you talk about. So everything that you're describing to us in your external reality is already what you've created on the internal reality. It's just the mirrors, it's the reflections back to us, isn't it? To show us, am I rising? Do I choose to rise into my queendom, into my sovereignty here? Or do I come back into victimhood? You know, I'm being attacked here. And I love, love, love the deep reflections that you have in all of that. It's so beautiful to listen to, because I'm sure that everybody listening to this will be able to pinpoint moments in their life where they had that choice point. And we won't always get it right either. But then what do we do with the choices then that we make? And I also love your reflections on this through me consciousness. You know, it's not by me, it's not to me, it's the through me. And I'm reflecting as I'm listening to you here on where I realise I've been triggered in the past, awoken in the past when others have copied me. And I've got really upset and really annoyed and frustrated and angry and felt all those emotions. But actually, as we deepen into this journey and we go further inward, because ascension that I talk about is all about really going further inward, it's coming home to the truth of we don't own consciousness.
We are consciousness.
We are consciousness. We are that vessel for consciousness. So it will choose where the light is shining brightly to come through. And when we are allowing ourselves to, I guess, when I'm talking about holding energies, it's being that container for it, isn't it? Without holding it, it's allowing it to flow through us and allowing it to be expressed through us. And the way that you articulate it with such mastery as well is so, so amazing as well. So what I'm going to, say to people here is that you are an author and you've written a beautiful, really easily digestible and easy to understand book, which talks about your what you've learned over the years. You've walked the walk. It's the selling and marketing principles with all the masculine, the divine masculine in there, but also the divine feminine principles. And about the alchemy, how we do the inner work to express this consciousness of who we are. We are an expression of the divine, and how we express that in our beautiful way, how we bring our energetic signature to it without getting too attached to it. So I love all of that. Can you share just, where people can find this book and how they can maybe find out a wee bit more about if they're stepping out like I did 2 years ago and took this leap of faith into entrepreneurship? Where would they start by learning more about this from you, Lenka?
Yes, book is certainly the best starting point. I wrote it in 2018, was published in 2019. Energetic Selling and Marketing. It's available anywhere on Amazon, or we have, and I can include the link, a little offer on for ebook that comes with the course as well. So I can include the link.
Amazing.
Link for that. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, it's the basis, it's the foundation. It's what led me to extraordinary business growth. And it's the door. To me, the business is a door, how we can because business is, or certainly can be, if we allow it, extension of our soul. Really, is where we can put all of ourselves, all of our creativity in a way that doesn't exhaust us, that takes all of our time, that we need to run on a masculine, wounded masculine energy, but it helps us to grow and become more and more powerful divine beings in all ways.
Yeah.
So yes.
Oh, thank you so much. And we'll look out for that link. I'll attach it to the show here as well. So 2023, what is 2023 holding for Lenka this year? Do you have a word? Do you have a mantra? Do you have a vision for the year ahead?
I don't have one specific mantra, even though I work with mantras rather regularly. But I'm letting go, actually, of attachment or label of energetic selling and marketing, believe me or not.
Wow.
Which is what I'm known for.
Yeah.
It's just, I have this incredible program, Extraordinary Growth Academy, which is all about energetic business, creating extraordinary growth in business through energy. And that's what we do, the magic. But as the time goes, I'm realizing, and this is what for me 2023 is about. It's about there is the door. I've done the doors of the business, and there is so many more women beyond the business so I don't want to be attached to business and numbers, I mean, numbers, I still love the numbers, don't take me wrong. And that will continue happening, supporting women in creating their millions and rich lives, because it's part of it, but it's about really wealth and richness and fullness, divine fullness, in love, in purpose, in time, in love. So expanding, going beyond that label and identity I took upon me.
Yes.
So I'm closing the academy and opening a brand new program later in a year.
Oh, how exciting.
Yes, so that's what's happening this year. Am I scared? Yeah. Once again, why don't we just close all together everything that's working?
Amazing. So this is the evolution of Lenka, yeah. And I think, this is the bit, it never ends, does it? We're constantly evolving. We're constantly growing into more and more and more of who we are. We're these huge, enormous beings of light that we think we focus so much on the physical matter, don't we? And of course, it's important, the physical
matter is a part of energy. This is always, we were so fun even talking about it. I do it as well. All of our women do it. It's not just about numbers, or not just about money, or this physical. No, it's part of it. It's the trouble starts when we take the physical matter, let's say the money or the beauty, like some beautiful necklace or whatever it might be, as this is my mantra, this is my source of value. There's this connection, but it's a spirit, it's a form of spirits. So it's one form. There are other forms, which is like that sense of purpose, that's the sort, that's when we feel fulfilled. And still for us, that we are of purpose to other people. Another source is the wealth, is like when we grow, that expansion. So it's like we want to put it at the same level, and it's a form of energy. So rather than being apologetic, because I notice you do that, but also all women like are almost apologetic, like it's not just about nice things or money. It's about more. Yeah, it's about that and that, all of it.
Absolutely. An abundance of full richness in your life in all respects. I just so love that. And I cannot wait to see where this all leads you and leads others who are just following that step behind Lenka, because, what's so beautiful is you meet people where they are. You see the light and all, and it's not that, I'm ahead of anybody else. It's we as women now, we are setting down these new paradigms of leadership, of how to live, of how to learn and constantly evolve, and how to lead ourselves first and lead others. And it's just so beautiful.
Every single one of us is needed. It may feel like it in the sea of other powerful women. No, we're doing it together. We're one, doing it together. So yes, and I always have a goosebumps when I think about what every one woman, how much difference we make when we actually allow ourselves to step more and more and more into our fullness. How much of service we are.
Lenka, thank you so much for joining me today. I'm just going to invite you to, if there's anything that you could give anybody a piece of advice on for this year ahead. If we've not heard enough already, I'm just sitting here like, I can't wait. I've got so many ideas buzzing inside of me already. Excellent. It's like I've been activated here.
Excellent.
Are there any final words that you would like to share with the audience members here about this year ahead?
It's perhaps something that gorgeous listeners heard many times. This is a common advice, but I always want to finish with this. That which is coming through, those desires, the gentle whisper, come here. This is what you could be. This is who you could be. This is what you could have. This is what you could do. Don't ever ignore those whispers, because they are not just what you could be, do, or have. This is who you already are your soul signature. And so it's meant there for you. It's here, it's now. So believe that more than any fears and doubts that you'll meet along the way, because we will, of course. There are edges. So a little more braver steps this year in that direction.
Follow that soul call. Take the heart-aligned action. I love that, Lenka. Thank you so much. I'm so appreciative of you being here. I'll continue to follow your work with so much love and admiration. you know, all the ladies that are listening to this today, we might have some gents, who knows, but all the ladies that are listening to this today, please check out Lenka's work. And, you know, I'll leave all the links below so you can easily find her and you can see how you can work with her as well. So thank you so, so much, everybody.